Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. Welcome to Golden Girls Coffee Clutch with my wonderful friends, Shari, also known as Blanche from Voices in the Swamp, and Cleo, also known as Dorothy.
Yes.
I'm Cleo the Seer. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
And
Did everybody have a good New Year's?
Yes. Yes, absolutely did.
Shari, you with us, Shari? Good New Year's?
I'm here.
Bad New Year's?
It was a fairly quiet New Year's, which like it was a fairly quiet Christmas, which
Okay.
I greatly appreciated because I needed the quiet for a little while.
Yes.
Because tonight we have our mall has been evacuated, surrounded by police, shots fired, someone saying terrorism attack, someone else is saying no. We don't know what the hell's going on over there. But it's only like about 5 miles from my house where where the
boy.
mall is. And I mean it's like the mall in town, you know. It's like what the hell is wrong with people?
I know.
Well, that's pretty scary to have something like that going on so close to home. I mean,
It
Yeah.
is.
really.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, we're shocked that we're shocked. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. When my son hit me with it when I got out of the class from Deborah Zackow, because I did a class with her today. And when I got out and I ran to the bathroom, and my son was like, "What the hell is wrong with people? Now they got terrorists in the mall." I'm like, "What?" I
Yes.
had no clue what was going on. I mean, I was like, "Oh my God." It took me 10 minutes just to figure out what they were talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
What was going? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Well, and these
Let-
other terrorist attacks in I can't even remember which two states.
yes. Yeah, you know
here,
what? I had meant to
Las
write them
Vegas
down.
and here.
Yes.
They took a
Yeah.
is your feed going crazy right now, or is it just mine?
Yeah. No, you're freezing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
You're,
so
you're okay now.
the fact that that a guy drove a Tesla pickup truck, which is the strangest pickup truck ever. But anyway, he drove it in there,
Ugly?
shot himself in the head, and then went ahead and blew up the car in front of a Trump building. So he's not a fan of Musk, and or Tesla, and he's not a fan of Trump and all his Trump buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know how he committed suicide and then set off the bomb.
He probably had it set up that way. It was probably kind of a thing like all you got to do is lean forward to pull the plug or pull, something like that.
Well, now they had, as far as bombs go, they have it on the CCTV stuff that's all up and down the streets in New Orleans. Um, Two men and a woman who were planting bombs up and down around Bourbon Street before the guy in the pickup truck started plowing through people like crazy.
Wow.
It's like, what the hell, man? What did Nola do to you? I mean,
Yeah.
Did the bombs go
the
off?
guys from Jackson, they're all screaming, uh, he's an immigrant. He was an immigrant. It's like, no, he was born and raised in Texas. He's a Texan.
Yes, exactly.
Just because he got radicalized by ISIS doesn't make him any less Texan or American.
No.
It just
No, exactly. And he's okay, so he has a foreign sounding name. Yes, so does Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Like
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you can't use that as a basis. So just quickly want to get the housekeeping out of the way. You guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you visit Shari's channel and Cleo's channel. Make sure that you do the like, share, and subscribe on their channels as well. because it really helps the algorithm. And God knows we need to get our message out in front of people who need to hear what we're saying. They just don't know where we are. So when you do that, yeah, you help us get out in front of more people. So there's
And very importantly, after the show is over, go in to Marina's channel, since she's the host tonight, and leave a comment in the comment section, because that helps boost her algorithm,
yes,
which in turn will boost ours because we're with her. So
yeah, exactly. And while you're doing all that, double check to make sure that you are actually subscribed. YouTube has been doing their thing again where they are,
we've been on another
dropping,
purge.
yeah, they're doing another purge. So, yeah, just make sure that you are subscribed to the channels and so on. So that's kind of, yeah, the big news, the housekeeping end of things.
But
And
you guys are saying that some people that have subscribed to certain channels, or not to certain channels, to any channel, can suddenly be booted off and they're not even aware of it?
yes,
Yeah.
Wow.
oh yeah,
I did not know that.
That's
yes,
why I go through and check my important subscriptions at least once a month and make
Yeah.
sure I'm still there. Because it happened with me and Marina.
yes,
She was doing a live stream. I was in the chat moderating for her, and I'm a paying member to her channel. And I happened to notice that I wasn't subscribed to her channel.
Wow.
They had unsubscribed me, and I was
Yeah.
a moderator and a member.
Oh my
Yes.
And yet their algorithm kicked me off from the subscription list. I was like,
Yeah.
this is freaking crazy. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So that's just, yeah, I agree with Shari. Just once a month, just make sure that you go through and that you are subscribed. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't cost anything, doesn't hurt anything. And yeah, look into membership on our channels. There's, certain little perks that you get for
yeah.
members, and they're always fun. And I want to say hello to all of you that have joined us in the chat. I think we're at 59 in the chat right now, and that's a little too many to kind of go through one by one. But oh, thank you for being here. And I had a comment the other day, and just want to share it with you guys, and you let me know what you think. But the comment was, why are some people on some channels, um, naming people that are in the chat, because it kind of reminds me of the old romper room. Oh, and I see Susie and I see David. And I thought, isn't it common courtesy when someone comes to your house to greet them by name? And if they don't know the other guests that are at your house, to introduce them?
Yeah.
Have we gone that far away from manners? Anyway, that's
Okay.
I just thought it was
Manners.
funny.
Most people today go, what's manners? I don't know what that
Yes,
is.
yeah, exactly. So yeah. But thank you, all of you, for being here, and we can get we can get into the some of the news that's been going on. And we did tell you guys that 2025 was, look out, it's going to be a bumpy ride, and it has started. It has started.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Right?
It really
Oh
has.
Oh my gosh, is this true? Norm Gilbert said Elonia's new ex name is Caicus Maximus. Are you kidding me? Caicus Maximus. I wonder what that means.
I was going to say, I know Maximus is in reference to the gladiator.
Yeah,
Is
well,
that what his
Maximus means, the prime, or the most important.
And how is anybody gonna know it's him? I mean, it's not even, I don't get it. What is the point of this?
Oh Lord.
Well, he's been busy booting people off of X left and right for the past week because people were bitching about Trump shenanigans and out lying about stuff. And
Yes.
evidently his
Do you think
feelings
that,
got a
do you
little
think
hurt
that,
because
do you think
people
that,
were bitching about him too.
do you think that the muskrat has any qualms about the fact that the German chancellor is basically telling him to shut up? You know, that he is interfering in their election, which they're having in
Yes.
February. And the German chancellor had said the vote will be decided by the citizens and not by the owner of a social media channel. But he
Very
didn't,
good.
he doesn't, so he doesn't come out and name Musk, excuse me, whatever that guy, Muskrat,
Yeah.
whatever that
Yeah.
guy is. He doesn't name him, but, you know, Muskrat has kind of sided with a controversial group in Germany. I don't pretend to be knowing everything about what's going on. All my interest is that this is another person from the Trump side that is
Yes.
interfering in somebody's election. And we know now that this interference in elections is going on around the world. There's
Yes.
at least 6 or more very closely related people or related countries that are suddenly shifting to authoritarian governments.
Yes.
And it's all because of election interference. And we're one of them. Maybe
Yes.
we be the 7th. And so
Yes.
this is,
Yeah.
you know, this thing with Musk, I like hearing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because yeah, he needs to be called out. He mentioned I think it was, oh gosh, about a month or so ago, when someone asked him about is Trudeau going to have to call an election, and if he does, can he win another election? And Muskrat basically said, no, Poilievre is going to win. We know it. And I thought, really? Well, thanks for telling us. No sense in having, spending all that money on an election, right? We'll just take your word for it. You know it. Yeah.
Well, how does Canada feel about that on your perspective of, the people of Canada? Are they thinking that Muskrat knows what he's talking about?
I don't think a lot of people here really pay much attention to him. We like to make up our own minds, and we don't like being feeling like we're being bullied into anything. In fact, I think most people, when they feel like they're being bullied, will go in the complete opposite direction, just to almost just out of spite, right? So it's you can see it in a lot of our elections where by the time that the voting, by the time that it's over in Ontario, we pretty well know who the government is going to be in power. And the other provinces, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, we're icing on the cake. But the election is basically decided by that point. So, and there have been times when it looked like an election was going to go one way, and it didn't. It absolutely flipped, and that's because people were being told, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. The conservatives are getting in. Yeah, no, definitely." And people will go, "No, I'm going to vote Liberal just because." Right? So.
So is Trudeau actually stepping down, or is he still in the running?
He hasn't said that he is stepping down. He can be, they can call an election through a no confidence vote pretty much any time now. If they don't, we are due to have an election in October of this year anyway. yeah, Trudeau said he was going to take the holidays to think about what it is that he's going to do. Um, I think that if he is smart, he is going to step down and he's going to encourage someone else. And up until very recently, I wasn't sure who that someone might be. But when Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister, and the the deputy prime minister, when she resigned, and her resignation letter said it spoke volumes. So I think that she, it was kind of like the shot across the bow, letting him know that there are people who are willing to see him step down, and that there are people who are willing to come, step into his shoes. I don't know that he could carry off another election. He's had a minority government the last two elections, which means that you have to work with a third party in order to get anything done.
Mm.
So I think people have had enough. He's been prime minister for over 10 years. I think that people have had enough. They want change, and unless he steps down and allows another liberal to take the place, we could very well see a conservative government. And they're really no different than they're just mega light.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. So is anybody in Canada upset about this 25% tariff that Trump wants to impose?
Oh,
You think?
yeah. You know what? So far, everyone that I've talked to said, really? Go for it. Find out. Go for it. Give it a try. And again, it's that kind of, you feeling like the back is up against the wall. It's, yeah, okay. It might hurt us. We know it's going to hurt us a little bit, but it's going to hurt you a hell of a lot more. So
Exactly. It's going to hurt us a lot more.
Yeah.
So hopefully, well, we're all hoping, hopefully Trump's not even there, but for him to do that, and now in Mexico too, I'm thinking, oh, he's so good at making friends. He's so good.
yeah,
creating this unity among countries and stuff. He just is, and it's such an embarrassment. And I hope Canada knows that the majority of the United States absolutely does not want a 25% tariff. And I really
One could only hope.
Yeah, no, we do. We realize where this is coming from. We know that this is coming from Trump, who wants to, flex his muscle and show the world, and, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And Justin Trudeau is going to be Senator Trudeau, and Canada's going to be the 51st state. It's like, in England during the war, when they would give you the salute. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, give it a try. See how far you get. Give it a try. So, we're ready for it.
Well, I find it just absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing. And apologies
yes.
to Canada. I mean, you've done nothing that I'm aware of that should make somebody do something like this. Plus, Trump's thinking is he's throwing these tariffs out so that people from whoever's in Canada that's sending fentanyl into the United States. I'm like, what in the world are you talking? I never even knew that was an issue until he brought it up. Is that an issue?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
no.
And I don't think it was.
Yeah, and it was. I think Trudeau pointed out that Yeah, the fentanyl doesn't come from Canada, but the other part of that coin is there are a lot of illegal weapons in Canada that come to us via the US. Can we
Yeah,
talk about that?
yeah, go ahead.
You know,
I don't
it's
know that
like,
much about it, but
yeah,
I like to hear.
let's talk about that. You want to start throwing those accusations around. Okay, then we'll see. Why don't
What
you?
goes around comes around.
Yeah, yeah. How about this? We'll stop the fentanyl once you stop the illegal weapons coming into Canada. How's that? You first. Right?
You first.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So
It,
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about Trump and yeah, he just everything I see him doing is kind of to destroy our economy. And I
yes,
think that that's exactly what's going to happen if he
yes,
does get in and if he does impose these huge tariffs against our neighbors. I mean, that we're not even, I don't know. It gets worse and worse. But hey,
yeah,
speaking of getting worse and not having Trump, I did want to bring up, and for the chatters as well, a lot of people are in here that saw Colleen and I do a show yesterday, and we
yeah,
were talking about all these things that we think are going to happen, but we don't have any verification of it yet.
yes,
Today we do have one, and the other thing is we're waiting for. We're not going to get a huge, big announcement from somebody that says, "Hey, this is what we're doing, and this is what's happening. So get ready." That's not how it's going to work. It's going to be a few little things, one at a time, and Colleen referred to it as the breadcrumbs that they'll be dropping, and we're
yes,
just waiting for that. And I didn't really think maybe we'd hear anything until maybe tomorrow, but instead we have. And
yes.
I got this from David from Tarot of the Bay, or Tarot by the Bay, excuse me. He talks about the Treasury Department, and this is on the internet now.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
out there. Is preparing to impose sanctions on entities in Iran and Russia.
yes,
In Iran, it's the Revolutionary Guard, and in Russia, it's the Russian Military Intelligence Agency. That they're attempting to interfere in our 2024 election with the aim to stoke socio-political tensions and influence on the U.S. electorate during the
yeah,
2024 election. In other words, they came in just like we've all thought, and they have caused trouble. But finally, now that's some government agency, it happens to be the Treasury Department,
the
which I don't
Treasury.
quite know why it's that way, but that's what it is.
They
And
were hacked. They were the Treasury. There was a part of the Treasury Department that was hacked on, I believe it was December 5th. And then, yeah, they came up with the news once they had it contained on, I think, December 8th or 9th. So these are all little things that you're starting to see the trees falling.
yeah,
But
it's starting actually to come together a little bit where things are starting to
it
make
is.
sense.
It is.
And
I'll be right back.
this is definitely going to affect our uh,
Come on, little miss.
the inauguration on January 20th, because I don't, there's a bunch of other things happening as well. But
Mhm.
I think that this is something that this is just the beginning of where we're looking at this kind of interference that is going to, I think, I'm guessing, I think push back the inauguration because they can't really do it
No.
with an all good conscience because we know that Trump actually did not win that election, but proving it or finding all those votes that got either tossed or
Yeah.
somehow redone within the computerized system. I don't know exactly how they did all this, but this is the beginning of what we were looking for. Now, other people have said too little, too late.
Oh,
I don't believe that, because I'm
No.
telling you that this thing that just came out that I just explained, they've known about it. They've got all the evidence. And by the way, if you watch David's show, which was put out today, he talks about that in his readings, that yes, they know what's
Yes.
going on. And
Yes.
now we're just beginning to hear just the tip of the iceberg that's getting ready for
Yeah.
what we hope will be Kamala Harris eventually being inaugurated.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and by the way, they also know that Russia did the exact same thing in 2016. So actually, Trump has stolen the election twice now,
Yeah.
by way of foreign interference, if not internal interference.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So anyway, I wanted to mention that to everybody, and that was, to me, the best news ever for today, because we're just waiting for this kind of stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Rose Blue. It's very kind. Yes, this, you can't do what the other guys are doing. And by that, I mean, before 2020, before all the election places were even closed, he was yelling, "Stolen, stolen, stolen! It was rigged. It was fixed. It was whatever." And then they tried for 4 years to come out with the proof of how it was stolen, and there's nothing there because it wasn't. So anything that the Democrats, if they had come out, right after the election and said, "Oh no, 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 it was, it was stolen," people would go, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Here you go, Donald. It was taken from you," right? They wouldn't have believed it. So the best thing at that point to do is to not say anything. Do your research. This isn't something that came as a complete, total, absolute shock to the Democrats. They were prepared. They knew that these guys fight dirty, so we have to have things in place, and it takes a while to not only gather the evidence, but to make sure that what you are going to be sharing with the public is true and accurate. It's not enough just to say, well, we have some pretty strong evidence that the 2024 election was it was messed with and there was foreign players involved. Yeah, we have some good proof. You have to have irrefutable proof. You have to be able to go in there and say, okay, on this particular Tuesday at 2:18 p.m., a text message from this phone went to this phone. And this is what it said in that text message. And that was followed up by an email that went to this person. And this is how they responded. And then later on that evening at 7:58, this happened. You have to be able to come in with that proof, so that there is nothing that anyone can say, well, you can bitch and complain, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, but there it is. You can't argue with what's in black and white. And some of the information that we're getting out now, yes, like from Clark County in Nevada, and when you see the pattern, it's like, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what they did. You can definitely see that. I think it was at the 400 vote count, where up until then you've got these little red and blue spots that are all intermingled. But when you get to the 400, all of a sudden it shifts and it goes like this. And Trump outperforms even what his party thought he was going to do, and Kamala underperforms what was expected. And it's just, when you see it visually, it's like, you can't argue with that.
But then when it came right down to it and they counted up all the votes, we're talking about, what was it, 1.2% difference? On the popular vote, on the popular vote.
Yeah, on the popular vote, something along those lines. But the idea is that, yeah, you have to be able to come in with the proof. I honestly think that is why not only are the Five Eyes involved, but Shari, honey, are we losing you?
A little bit, but
A
that's
little.
okay.
Oh, God bless.
I started to drift. It was like, no, no, come back, come back.
Yeah, I
Come
know
back
you're
to the light.
tired. Yeah, if you want to cut out early, you go ahead, because yeah,
I'm good. I had 3 back-to-back stuff tonight. So it was like, I haven't stopped since 1
yeah,
o'clock.
yes, yeah.
And just sitting here and listening, and your voice, the timbre of your voice is very relaxing to me.
Oof.
And so as I sit here and I'm listening to you, and I'm like going right down.
Yeah.
But that's a compliment, because a lot of people don't do that really. But
Oh,
your
well, there you
voice
go.
is just the right timbre and tone for my ears, and it just puts me right down. It's like, that's
Oh,
why I could always do those little meditation things you did with that one class you were teaching. It was
yes.
like you talk in the beginning, and it was boop, it put me right there.
Yes. Yes. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
anyway, the thing that you were
Yeah.
talking about, Marina, within the United States and all, that we know that things are strange, and but I don't know if they've actually found the evidence that can show what the real vote. I'm wondering if they'll ever be able to show what the real vote was, because I really think it's been lost, stolen,
Mhm.
And it's been erased.
burned
They've
up,
done away with that.
you know.
Yeah,
But
there's
this thing about outside interference from foreign agents, I mean, I have been talking about this for almost a year. So to
yes.
see something that verifies what we've all thought, and now they're actually doing something with it, and it's got a real, the Treasury Department is looking into this. This makes me feel very hopeful today about
Yes.
what's really going on. And you're talking about that they need explicit evidence.
Yes.
I think they've got it. I think they've already got it. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they're just trying to inch up, bringing up stuff, because if they just said all at once, this is what happened, then you're going to have a civil unrest. But if
Yes.
they just bring it in the way they're doing, little by little, and
Yeah.
by the way, I've also heard from other psychics that they think maybe Biden is giving up, getting too tired, doesn't want to deal with this, doesn't want to have any part of this. I tell you, that is absolutely wrong. It's another thing I've been saying all along, is that Biden is fired up by this.
Yes.
He is
Oh
energetic.
yeah.
And if you see him looking
He
like
is pissed
tired,
off.
maybe I need a nap or something. Well, he is older, but on the other hand, it's an act. He knows exactly. He's a very smart guy, and
Yes.
I keep getting that part of what they're waiting on is for the other countries where this has happened to get all of their evidence together, so that almost as a world unit, they can all kind of step forward together and go, okay, this is what we found out. And they were responsible for this country and this country and this country and this country. And now they are all on the most wanted list. Where's the muskrat going to go hide when
Oh yeah.
he's wanted in 10 different countries for what
Yeah.
he's done?
Yeah.
So,
And it's also a matter of timing too, right?
yeah,
Is
yes,
things have to happen according to the way that they've been traditionally done. Is there has to be, you can't say that a vote was stolen, or an election was stolen, unless you go through the process of confirming that election,
yeah.
right? So that's why things coming up like tomorrow is is Moses Mike going to survive? We'll see. But once that's done, then we go to the 6th, and the things that have to happen then only after that happens can you come out with any kind of evidence. The other thing is, you don't want to give the other side enough time to mess anything up, to delete, to destroy, to do whatever between now and the next swearing in, which is supposed to happen on the 20th, right? So it's a matter of timing, and a matter of, like Shari said, of some of the other countries getting their stuff together and going, right, okay, these are the players who were involved, this is what they did, this is the day they did it. It's, think about it, when, if they're, you're watching a murder trial on that's happening in your city. You're not getting everything that the prosecution has right off the bat. They're
Right.
feeding you. They're feeding you little things. In the end, when the trial is over, that's when they put it all together and say, right, now can you connect the dots?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening here. So don't, there isn't any part of me that feels like, oh, you know what? No, it's lost. It's over. It's done. I do not see Trumpkin being sworn in. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either, but I do see him doing a fake inauguration for himself.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, crowning himself? Oh, you bet. Oh, you bet.
But the thing that comes up on the 6th, what Trump is trying to do is he wants the speaker to be in there so he can be, what is he, certified on the 6th or something? But the only thing is, now the Republicans are looking around like, okay, we might not have a speaker. So they're trying to do some kind of a little emergency thing that makes it so that they don't need the speaker for this. But, either way, we don't really, Trump is adamant that he wants to be certified right away. He'd like to have been certified on November 6th.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you that this little bit of news, it doesn't sound like maybe that big of a deal, but this whole thing is a huge big deal, because it is not just our country, it is worldwide. Yes. And that's the kind of interference that's coming from Russia, yes. Especially. Yeah. They want world domination, and this is what they're aiming for, and they're getting closer to it. So I just think, definitely do not give up on Biden. There's no way that he is going to allow our country to go into authoritarian rule on his watch. I just don't see it happening. And, it would be an automatic thing if somehow Trump was disqualified. If he is disqualified, Kamala Harris is the obvious replacement for him. And, it would sure throw all the work he's done, all the people he's assigned to these departments.
Oh, God, only the best. Only the very best and
only the most unqualified group ever in the history of the country to be put into these different offices. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a big mess for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I can see it being postponed. Yes. If it goes differently and she's suddenly inaugurated, yahoo, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
But I don't know that that's what's going to happen. So I just want people to know that when you got to pay attention to what's going on the outside of this whole thing, because it is so huge, it is so big, and it is very secretive and confidential. And don't forget about NATO. I mean, NATO had the new guy from NATO had made a visit with both Biden and Trump, but I think it's NATO that is offering up the beginnings of the evidence that they're looking for. But like I said, in my thinking, they've got it all. But they will take things a step at a time. And
yes.
And we also have to remember that Biden's got to look at the fact of how are MAGA going to react if they come out with all this stuff. You know, how many state capitals are going to go kaboom? How many governors' offices are going to go kaboom? Um, how many? Just it's all of that on top of all of this that he has to take into consideration of keeping the most people protected that he possibly can.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
That's
And
why I
because
think
they're not going to take that news lying down, they're
that's
going to
why
go
I think
ballistic.
they're not gonna just spring it on us. They're bringing it up little by little. And this latest thing that I was just talking about is from the Treasury Department, is one of the first little crumbs that kind of gives us a light at the end of the tunnel. And for them to, I think that Biden and others working with him will find a way to do this so it is not so majorly disruptive. There will be, of course, some people that just go crazy. I see Margie Trailer Green. I've seen her now for the last few months, just absolutely losing her, just losing it, losing her mind. But no, I think you're talking about big protests and people going to the capitals of different states and I don't know, shooting things up or something. But I don't know that it's actually going to go that way, because I think once they throw us all these little tidbits, in the end, when they really have to expose it all, they will expose some things that people will go, oh wow, I had no idea that was happening. And they will they will kick back and think, okay, there is something going on here. And they might end up actually seeing Trump for the con man that he is and the liar that he is, because I think his involvement is part of the evidence. I think he's up to here. And but I might be wrong about all that, but I'm not wrong about what I just told you about the Treasury Department. So it is the beginning of the breadcrumbs, and just it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, what happens on the 6th, and also something going on the 9th, and I can't remember right now what that is on January 9th.
Jimmy Carter's state funeral.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they were saying that this gives a whole lot, and Jimmy Carter would love this, because if all these Democrats and Republicans get together for his funeral, it gives them time to drag all these people in and say, by the way, while you're here, you might want to, here's some information you might want to know about, without having to, to sneak in the back door or anything. It's just right up front because they're there for the funeral. So
yes, exactly.
Carter would love this.
Yes. And the Biden has ordered that the flags will fly at half staff and half mast. And I found out half staff is on land, half mast is ships at sea.
Okay.
So that's both things are correct. So, and that is supposed to happen for 30 days. Now, the Orange Menace had requested that provision of the half staff, half mast be lifted on the day of the inauguration. I have not heard anything more about that since then, but I have a funny feeling that the answer was no. Because we do this out of respect for a past president. We don't, no, we're not making a special exemption for you because the optics aren't good. Right? You don't want to be swearing on a Bible, which, while your hand doesn't burn when you put it on there, that I don't know. But yeah, and to see the flags at half staff, no, that doesn't. Yeah, so he'll probably do something at Mar-a-Lago, at his palace, put on the crown and declare himself whatever.
Grand Poopah.
Yeah. And yes, Celtics here, Inauguration Day is the same day as Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes. So imagine that. Yeah. I
So many
think
things happening. You know, Christine over here in the chat world there said, I am worried about the safety of world leaders at the funeral. I've heard that that is definitely something to be considered. But those people will show up
Yeah.
anyway. And
yes.
they're also, I mean, I think it was Jamie Raskin that was saying that if they tried to disqualify Trump, that they're going to be, I guess a lot of people already are being kind of threatened and stuff. So that is something they're just going to have to work that out. They're just, and I think that's all part of the planning of trying to figure out
Yes.
who are they going to point fingers at? How are they going to bring this stuff up and protect everybody? They obviously, if you're a politician and you're down in Washington, D.C. doing stuff, you got to be careful.
Yeah, or maybe
There's-
find a young child like Elon Musk does, entertainment purposes only, and put him on your shoulder. Because that's one of that's one of the reasons he walks around with his young son on his shoulders, is because he thinks no one is going to do a pew pew on him as long as that child is there. Now, what kind of a low life would do that? But
uses a little kid to protect him.
yes.
That guy that you're talking about, he's one of those kind of people. I just heard about him with his one of his ex-wives. I don't know if he's only been married once or more or whatever, but she had said that that he was pretty hard to deal with, and that she said she felt like an employee, and so she told him, she goes, "You're treating me like an employee," and he goes, "No, if you were an employee, I would have fired you." That's what he says to his wife. I mean, he just is a creep.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's, there is so much to look forward to. I know that it does feel like it's there. It feels like there's a lot of anxiety and whatnot out there. I think for some people there is, but at the same time, remember that anxiety, what you're thinking is anxiety, could just be anticipation of the good change that is coming. Right. And we haven't had this feeling for a good long time.
exactly.
So that's why it feels a little foreign. Right. So I think I think the news about what has happened is not going to come directly from Biden. I have a feeling that it is going to come from NATO, because it not only affects the US, but it affects other countries.
Yeah.
And so, the announcements worldwide for these different countries are going to come in sort of from NATO. And don't forget, there's elections happening in other countries that might be affected that you can't really say anything right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because
there's a bunch of elections coming up, and
yes,
they're all concerned about this authoritarian and dictatorships that are trying to be developed in other countries.
yes,
Yeah, so we are just going to have to kind of wait and see how it goes. But it just is looking, I don't know, I'm feeling super hopeful today.
yes,
I've been up and down like a yo-yo. I mean, it was just because it's just been crazy ever since the election. But today, when I saw that thing, which again, I want to thank David from Tarot by the Bay for putting that out there, because I wouldn't have. I think I found his thing at like about 2:00 this morning, and I just was like, "Well, let me see what David has to say." And then I started listening, and I was just like wide awake, watching exactly what he's talking about.
I know.
But yeah, I'm glad that he brought that up. And then I have seen the other articles on the internet about that tells what he's talking about. So I know that it's true, and this is what we've thought. This is what we've been talking about, but we just had no proof to back it up, and now we do. And so I think you're going to just start seeing more and more layers of things coming up especially in the next week or so, you know, and I mean, we're just getting so close to the inauguration.
Yes.
But I think that what's going to happen with Trump is that people won't be able to say that it wasn't true, and that the or the Democrats are just doing this because they don't want Trump in. I think that we don't. I think they're putting people in a position, as particularly the president Biden, in a position where he has to do it. He has to say, you know, we can't inaugurate this guy right now. He won't have any choice. So it's not like he's trying to make up his mind about one way or another doing something. It's about the evidence that's coming in that puts him in a position that he has to do it. And I think the military will be involved in this. You know, because there is a lot of things that if they do disqualify him, but yet leave him out there to get crazy, that he would create the civil unrest, that he would create these huge big problems. So I'm wondering if they don't just detain him for a while until they can get all the facts together.
That could be. And the one thing that I will say, when it comes to let's not forget the psychology of people that are mega. Most of them they're looking for a scapegoat. They're looking for someone to blame for their own inadequacies. And up until now, that's been immigrants, that's been, women, that's been whoever. They can't look at themselves. So they are basically at a psychological level, they are cowards. They are absolute cowards. So yes, they will scream, they will yell, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes time to actually put the rubber to the road, I checked with my wife. She's not letting me go. You guys, I have to babysit the kids that night. You know? So there might be a lot of noise, but not a lot of action. There might be, a little skirmish here and there where the diehards are going to go down with the ship. That's okay. That's fine. But the majority of them, I think, are just, wife won't let me go. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I wanted to mention today, we're 52 minutes into this. And I'm pretty sure everybody has seen this out on the internet, but Biden gave the second highest award, actually a medal, to Liz Cheney and Bernie Thompson for their work on January 6th.
Yes.
Let's see exactly what I got it written down here somewhere. The name of the award is what I'm looking for. Anyway, Biden is doing this at a time when Trump has recently said Liz Cheney should be jailed. And so Biden goes, oh, I got a better idea. I'm going to give her a huge award. And when she was presented that award today, she received a standing ovation. Yes. She put everything on the line to do what she did. Although I realize there's a lot of people that are not fond of her. I've always, when it came to this thing, I thought it was great what she was doing. I know that she's been somebody that was kind of a Trumpster for the longest time, but mainly she's always just been a Republican. So anyway, I'm just so happy that Biden did that for both those people, because she put her whole career on the line. She lost her, she was, and she also supported Kamala Harris because she can't support Trump. And so I just thought that was great. And I'm just waiting to see how Trump reacts to this one, because he's so sure he wants to put her in jail.
There are not enough diaper wipes in the world to handle that one. So, Yeah, no, that I absolutely agree with you, Cleo. Liz Cheney was never one of the ones that I would say, oh yeah, I like her policies. No, I don't like her
No,
policies,
me
but in
neither.
this case, I think I put her on the same level as John McCain. When it came time to do the right thing, she did the right thing.
Yeah.
So for that, she has my respect because that's what she did,
And she
right?
took a lot of shit for that. I mean,
Oh yes, she did.
they just laid into her
Oh
all the
yeah.
time,
Yes,
she was so wrong to be doing this kind of thing. And
yes,
she stuck to her guns, um,
yes.
and did what had to be done. And I think, all the investigations that they did with the January 6th committee, all that information, I'm pretty sure that Biden has seen every bit of it. And
Oh
this is
yes,
another thing that adds to the insurrection. This is another thing that disqualifies Trump.
yes.
Um, and so that's another thing that could come up. And may not just be the election stuff. It may be what he did on January 6th that disqualifies him, as well as, God, there's just so many things that he has done that why in the world it got to the point where he is actually reelected
Yeah.
is there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And that there had to be election interference for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah. He was
Yeah,
installed.
it's like we said from the beginning, the math ain't mathing. I mean, it's just
The math-
between
Yeah.
the math ain't mathing. The numbers just don't match. I mean, you've got some counties where there were more votes than there were people registered in that county.
Yeah.
You've got things like that. I mean, you've got other votes where every other person that walked out the door were saying, "Oh no, man, we voted for Kamala." And then when they started doing the counts, like, well, did
Yeah.
all these people just tell a bald-faced lie? No, they told the truth. The
Well,
machine just changed
Pete
it.
Jeffries had a press conference where he talked about this, and he didn't come right out and say anything was wrong. What he said was, it just was so unusual how the voting came out, and so
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
the way he does his
Down the
presentation.
ticket. Democrat, 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 President, Republican. Like,
Exactly, and that's what he was saying. That there was
yeah.
just why was it that in those states, especially the critical states for the electoral
Yes.
college, why was it that they all the Democrats won, but the president was a Republican?
Yeah.
How did that work out? So, but like I
Exactly.
said, he wasn't judging. He was just saying that he found it unusual.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
it
he's
is.
absolutely right. All of us saw the election that night and looked over, and we see this map of the United States, and all of a sudden the middle of the United States just blows up red before anything's even decided. And I just
Yes.
was like, what? How could this be? And of course, at the time, I'm just thinking it can't be, but it was. But in the end, I think we're going to find out. No, it came out different than that, but I don't know that they're actually going to be able to find those votes because I think they have been destroyed.
Oh yeah, they did that the very next day, if not that night.
Yeah.
As soon as that machine was no longer in use, they did whatever they had to do to try to fry it out.
But now, if they find out if they can uncover the election interference from the 2016 time, that would be very interesting too. Because the other thing I've said is that they did it in 2020 as well, but something went a little bit wrong. And so
Yes.
what they did is they took all this information about how it didn't quite work out. And that is why Trump kept saying it was stolen, because he knew that it was
Yes.
stolen. He was adamant about it was stolen. It was stolen. Yes, you
Yes.
stole it. And so they took
Well,
all
it's just like his adamancy of telling his own donors, don't worry about it. I don't need your votes. I got enough votes.
yeah.
It's all taken care of. I mean, the first time I heard him say that at a rally, I thought, really now? How do you know you've already gotten enough votes when it's a week before election day?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Totally. And Yeah, who was it just here? Hold on. Innocent Potato said, yeah, Jimmy Carter did say that 45 would be declared an illegitimate president. And yes, yeah, he will be.
And
He will be.
he's going to be far more proficient in helping the country out where he is now, as opposed to where he was. Talking about Carter.
Yes.
Because now he can get back in the fight again.
So yeah, but if they can bring up the stuff about the 2016 election,
yes,
and also things that might have or they thought they could control for the 2020 election, but it didn't happen, and how that all worked out. This would be just amazing if we could go back in time after all the terrible things that have been said about Hillary Clinton.
yes.
And also all the terrible things that they're trying to say about Kamala Harris. It's just disgusting. And about Biden.
Yes.
It's just driving me nuts. But
Yep.
I'm wondering if that's not exactly what's going on, that they're collectively coming up with all of this stuff. And I don't know that we'll hear all about that, but we will see as things transpire about
Yes.
all these different things that are coming up, just like this. It seems like such a small thing. It's really pretty huge. And
Yes.
I'm feeling more optimistic today than I have since November 5th.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, just don't give up, folks.
No.
Stay positive, stay in the light, send out the light. Later on, or within the next week or so, okay, check on my channel and I will post when the January Shine Your Light event is going to be. And hopefully you can join us for that. The last two have been fabulous. And they have been so uplifting in so many ways that, yeah, we're just going to keep on doing it. So, ladies, thank you so much. Shari, thank you for reminding me yesterday that it was Golden Girls and that it was my turn to host.
Well, we were going around and what's coming up this week. I said, well, we got Golden Girls tomorrow night. Marina's, we do? And I said, well, yeah, you're hosting it.
Like, oh, okay then.
Hey, I didn't know it either. I didn't, it's been a holiday time and we're just getting past.
Well, and that's, everybody's kind of been off their
regular schedule. Yes.
Yes. And so I don't, and it's like, I don't even know who goes after you now. I mean, who's next? Is it me or is it Cleo?
You. After on the
Me.
16th, okay. Shari, yeah, is you, and then Cleo, you're on
Cleo,
the 30th.
and then back to you, and then unless Val comes back, so
yes.
Or until Val comes back, not if.
So thank you, each and every one of you. I think at one point we had close to 200 people in here, so thank you.
Awesome.
Yay! For spending part of your evening with us. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you go on the ladies' channels. Do the same thing over there. Just because it's Christmas and you want to make 3 old ladies happy. So just go ahead.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Yes, absolutely. And ladies, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this on last minute. And we will see you all in 2 weeks' time on Shari's channel. And in the meantime, check out our community tab. So we'll keep you posted on what we're doing for the other days that we're not here.
Yay.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye,
everybody.